How you guys doing? My name's Matt Balducci and welcome to the Slight Edge Book Reviews. And today we're going to be covering one of my favorite all-time books that I've ever read. And I cannot wait for you guys to pick this book up because it changed my life. Before we dive into the book though, I want to explain what the goal of this portion of my channel is. If you have not been following me, it's pretty simple. I'm going to be reading one book a week for the entire year, coming with one summary a week, and hopefully what happens is people begin reading more books. And that's the ultimate goal here, guys, is to get people to pick up more books. As you guys know and I know, books can change lives because you get an opportunity to actually learn from some of the greats and steal their knowledge, implement it in your life, and it's amazing, okay? So why is this book so near and dear to my heart? 3 years ago when I first read it, I was going through the roughest part of my business background. So if you guys don't know who I am, I run a multi-million-dollar construction company, and at the time, I had my best year yet. We finally broke the $1 million mark in revenue, and all the workers on my business walked out on me. And I had to completely rebuild the following year. And I was going through a mini depression, and I started reading again, which was unbelievable, which is why I want everyone out there to read as much as I do. And I picked up this book. It was out of pure luck. I don't know why. I think somebody recommended it to me. I ordered it on Amazon, picked it up, and I finished it in 3 days. And after that, it completely changed my life. It changed my life in fitness. It changed my life in business. It changed everything. And here's why, and here's the book, guys. The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. So here's what I recommend doing right now. Stop this video. Obviously, I want you to watch the summary, but stop this video, go to Amazon, go to the bookstore, wherever you need to go, and go pick this book up. Or what I really recommend you do is do what I do, which is order it on Audible on Amazon and listen to it while you do different things. Like I listen to books while I drive and while I work out, so that way I can get through as many books a week as I possibly can. And what I've learned is I'm able to actually educate myself while I'm doing the things that I'm typically doing in my life. All right, so let's dive into the book, guys. So here's the deal with The Power of Habit and why I love this book so much is that it's not your traditional rah-rah motivational book. It actually gives you tangible takeaways on how to understand how you create, break, and improve your life with habits. And ultimately what it comes down to is a lot of people out there don't know this, but your life is just a bunch of habits. If you really look at your day, we pretty much do the same things over and over again and over and over again. And as you guys all know, if you do the same things over and over again and you expect different results, then you're gonna be living in a world of insanity, right? That is the definition. But what this book actually explains, and there's 3 things I took from it, and I'm gonna explain all 3, but the first one is how the habit loop works. So I want you to write that word down right now. It's the habit loop. So here's how a habit loop works, and this is in the book, guys, and it'll explain it way better than I do and also explain it very thoroughly. But here's what the habit loop is, guys. First, you're gonna have a cue. Then after you have your cue, you're going to have a routine, and then after the routine, you're gonna have a reward. So let me explain that in my life currently, okay? So here's what my life looked like about a year ago. So I had a baby, but before I had my first baby, his name's Nolan, before I had him, my habit was simple. My alarm would go off in the morning, and that was my cue. So the cue was the alarm clock ringing. Then my routine was to hit that alarm clock and turn it to 15, 20, an hour later, and then I'd go back to sleep. And then I'd wake up really briefly and get up and run to work, and then I'd have my work day, and my reward was more sleep. That was my reward. Now, here's what the book explains, guys, is pretty basic, is that you cannot change the cue. So the cue for me is still I have to wake up in the morning using an alarm clock, but luckily I had a child. And what happened is Nolan wakes up at 5:30, 6 o'clock every single morning, and he has become my alarm clock. The best part of it is I can't all of a sudden hit the alarm clock anymore, the snooze button. I have to wake up and go take care of my son. So what I've created is I still have the same cue, which is waking up, having an alarm clock, And now my routine has completely changed, and here's what happened. When I wake up, I take care of them, I get them ready, and we leave out the house about an hour, hour and a half after we both wake up. I drop them off at daycare, and my routine now is then I go directly to the gym, and my reward is I get to look in the mirror and feel really, really good. So as you guys are understanding, and I hope you're picking this up right now, is there's a cue, a routine, a reward. So if you're out there right now and you have a bad habit, like for instance, I bite my nails and I can easily break it. I don't know why I have not, but here's how it works is I have an oral fixation while I'm driving. So I only bite my nails typically when I'm driving or when I'm bored. So here's the crazy part, that's the cue. So the routine is I bite my nails, the reward is I get the oral fixation of biting my nails. So let's say that I ultimately wanted to change that habit. Here's what I would have to understand is that the cue is never gonna change. I'm gonna be driving until we have self-driving cars, and I'm gonna be bored at some points in my life. So ultimately, you have to realize and understand what the cue system, reward, and routine system is that you can't change the cue, but I can change the routine. And the reward is gonna be pretty much the same thing, which I need an oral fixation reward. So what I can do is just go pick up a pack of gum, put it in my car, and when I hit that cue, when I'm bored or when I'm driving, I can actually change the routine, which is I can chew gum, and then I still get the same reward, and now, boom, my nails will grow in. And the reason I know this works is I did it for my wedding, and I grew my nails for an entire year, and it was great, and my wife couldn't believe it. Now, as you guys are seeing, it could be a bad habit like smoking, drinking alcohol, right? And this book actually goes into a lot of that. People that are overweight, which here's the truth, is about a year ago, I was completely overweight, and here's why, is I completely forgot all the different things I learned from this book, and that's why I had to re-pick it up again and reread it because I wanted to make sure that I got back on track. And the reason that I got out of shape is I literally built a bad habit, which was my cue was I needed to go to the gym, but when I got home from work, I would sit on the couch, I would turn on a TV show, and I was too tired, and my cue was, I'll do it tomorrow, right? And the reward was whatever it was, whether it was entertainment from, the TV show, or if I wanted to eat a delicious meal, all that kind of stuff. And what ends up happening, guys, is this, like I said, I broke that habit, and now I go to the gym every single morning at the exact same time, and I completely changed my nutrition program as well by changing my cues. Okay, and I can tell 1,000,001 stories about how that works, but again, when you start reading this book, I want you to sit down and figure out all the bad and the good habits you have, and I want you to look at it differently. Stop looking at it as it's just part of life and we're the ones making the decisions. Actually, what's happening is you're going through this exact system, which is you have a cue, a routine, and a reward. Once you understand that system, you can change whatever habits you want, and you can ultimately change your life, which again, that's what happened to me. After I read this book again, what I realized was that I was not going to the gym, I wasn't eating healthy, and I actually have lost 30 pounds, and I'm on the road to becoming a bodybuilder, which you can check out in some of my other videos. Okay, so what I want you guys to do now is sit down here and write out the things that you want to completely change in your life with the habits that you have. And now I want you to figure out what cues them, what are the things that actually make you do that habit and begin the routine of doing the actual thing, whether it's biting your nails like I do, smoking a cigarette, eating unhealthy, eating the ice cream instead of eating the apple, right? I want you to figure that out and understand that the cue will always be the same. And typically the reward is very similar in terms of that, where you're gonna want to figure out what that is, okay? So if you're obviously trying to break the habit of eating unhealthy, right, and you wanna eat healthier, your reward is that you're eating ice cream, and right, and as we all know, ice cream tastes delicious. But ultimately what it comes down to at the end of the day is that's your reward. So you gotta figure out how can you break that and get a reward from eating healthy, and that might be looking in the mirror and feeling good about it. Okay, so that's the first thing, guys. As you can see, I'm super passionate about this, and that's the first thing I took from it. The second thing I took from it is what's called Keystone Habits. And this is actually one of the biggest things that I can teach you right now. And at least if you don't read this book, this is something you take from it, which is what a Keystone Habit is that everyone has at least one or two things in their life that if they do, it will actually make them better in every other aspect of their life. So why am I going after a fitness journey right now? It's pretty simple. It's my keystone habit. If I don't work out, I actually am not as effective in my businesses that I run. I'm not as effective with my time and my structure. I'm actually lazier in other things in my life. And the craziest part, guys, is when I work out, I'm more focused, confident. I do better in my businesses. I do better when I go meet with clients. And I feel just ultimately better, which is why it's my keystone habit. The second keystone habit I have is reading, right? Is reading books. And so if I read a book at least for 15 to 30 minutes a day, I read for about an hour a day at minimum. But if I get at least 15 to 30 minutes a day, that's one of my keystone habits, guys. Now, there's a lot of other types of keystone habits you can have out there. One being maybe meditation and mindfulness, things like that. I just started picking up that a little bit. And there's a lot of different things out there that can make you more effective in your life. But here's the big thing about the keystone habit is the one keystone habit, which is fitness for me, leads to everything in my life, which is I eat better because I'm working out. I feel better, I'm more confident, more focused, all those different things. So figure out what is your keystone habit and never, ever, ever break it. And again, truthfully, about a year ago, I lost my keystone habit and it actually almost crumbled everything in my life in regards to my businesses and everything because I wasn't as focused on success. So number 3 is the Starbucks effect. And here's the coolest part about this, and when you read this book, guys, it's gonna blow your mind, is that all Starbucks did was they understood that habits made everyone more successful. And what they created is a little pamphlet, a little booklet at Starbucks, and it's all in the book, The Power of Habit, basically with everything that will happen to an employee while they work there. So let's say that you're an employee at Starbucks and someone comes in and they complain about the coffee that you gave them. What the booklet actually does is it gives them step-by-step how to handle it. And what they've done is they've actually allowed and helped their employees create the right habits, which then in turn gives great customer service, which in turn makes everyone out there want to go to Starbucks and buy the $5 cups of coffee, even though you can get a 99-cent cup of coffee at a diner. Right? So I'm not going to go into too much detail on that, guys, but just know that it's unbelievable, and I've implemented that in my company where I sit down with all my employees and I explain to them every single situation that can actually happen, and I remove the anxiety and help them understand that it's all habitual and that it's normal, right? So that's the book, The Power of Habit, guys. So here's how you can implement this book right now. Again, sit down, figure out what are the habits you want to improve or break or continue, right? So if you want to write that down, maybe draw 3 different charts on your sheet. And the first chart you're going to want to put is what do you want to continue, right? What are the habits you love? What are the ones that you think are actually helping you? Number 2 is what are the habits you want to stop doing? Maybe it's I want to stop eating poor food, or maybe it's I want to go to the gym and actually work out, right? What are the things that you want to stop doing, okay? And then the last column that you want to have is what exactly are you trying to accomplish with this habit? What is the reward you're going to get? The second thing you can do to implement this is come up with what your keystone habit is. Okay, so again, to remind you what a keystone habit is, the number one habit that you have that leads you to be successful in every other aspect of your life. For me, it's working out. Pretty simple. I learned that actually 3 years ago, did really, really well with it. My business completely grew. It was amazing. I recovered. And then I fell back into my old habits, and now I'm back. The last thing you can do, guys, is go get the book. Go get this book, okay? So what I want you guys to do is this, with The Power of Habit, read it and understand that it's actually going to explain everything you need to know on what is going to change your life. So good luck, guys. Subscribe below. Please do me that favor and subscribe. I'm going to be coming out with 1 book review a week. And if all else fails, at least you get something from these, and maybe it'll get you to read eventually, or you just get a quick summary of these amazing books, and I get to walk away with all the knowledge. So I will talk to you guys later. And again, welcome to the Slight Edge Network book reviews, and look out for my next one coming next week. And subscribe and like and comment. Okay, put a comment below. If you've read the book, make sure you put why. and what was your biggest takeaway from this book. So I'll talk to you guys soon.